Chapter 1. What is Feminism 2.0? A basic definition. Know the meaning. Feminism is by definition the belief that men and women should have equal rights and opportunities. UN Goodwill Ambassador and esteemed actress Emma Watson, addressing the United Nations. Feminism, according to Merriam-Webster, was the most searched word in 2017, and the Popular Dictionary defined the word of the year as the theory of the political, economic, and social equality of the sexes, and organized activity on behalf of women's rights and interests. This may be the basic definition of feminism, but the renewed interest in and incredible velocity of this social, political, and cultural movement seems to demand a new meaning. Perhaps it is time to launch and introduce Feminism 2.0, the new popularity, facts and figures, movements, and campaigns. Catch the wave of Feminism 2.0. As a college freshman in the early 90s, I went on a date with a classmate who harbored what I consider to be a rather unique view of equality between the sexes. "I support women's rights," he assured me. "I just don't like it when women want the best of both worlds, a career and a family." Okay, did I specify that this statement was made in the early 1990s? This is the point I pondered as I choked on my particularly rubbery serving of cafeteria surprise. Quickly regaining my bearings, I explained that both women and men should be equally entitled to both a job and a family, all the while silently counting the seconds until the conclusion of this misbegotten date. It seemed like years before said conclusion arrived in quite a rather awkward fashion, and I found cause to breathe a sigh of relief when, at last, he dropped me off at my door. My relief was short-lived, however, this owing to the fact that, just a few days later, he asked me for a second date. Thinking on my feet, I quickly reminded him that our views on life were substantially different in vision and scope. "Opposites attract," he countered. I rolled my eyes. "I have a boyfriend," I lied, smoothly channeling the character of Jan Brady from the classic TV sitcom The Brady Bunch. Surely y'all remember the episode where she conjured an imaginary beau by the name of George Glass. "I don't care," he replied, just as smoothly. I bit my lip, suddenly prepared to bring out the big guns. "I'm a feminist." Horrified silence met those words, followed by a hastily spoken goodbye. After cackling softly at my momentary victory, I sobered as I realized that I had used the word feminist, a word that for me symbolized the very positive concepts of justice, liberation, and equality, to drive someone away from me. Yet, until the past few years, the word and very concept of feminism carried with it a negative connotation, to the point that it could indeed drive people from your presence at any given moment. But, as Dylan so eloquently put it, the times they are a-changin'. More than 3 million people attended the inaugural Women's March on Washington in January 2017, an event meant to honor and advocate for the causes and concerns of women around the world. And during her 2017 presidential campaign, candidate Hillary Clinton, former Senator, Secretary of State, and First Lady, answered the question, "Do you consider yourself a feminist?" with an immediate and resounding yes, absolutely. President Barack Obama and Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau have both declared themselves to be feminists on many occasions. And speaking of world leaders, German Chancellor Angela Merkel is now considered leader of the free world in the eyes of many. And here in the States, our own Queen Bey, pop star, and general icon Beyoncé performs against a stage backdrop that proudly declares her to be a feminist. And speaking of pop culture icons, Wonder Woman, the first feminist superhero, burned up the big screen to glorious effect in 2017, lassoing, just had to say it, more than $800 million at the box office. The Me Too and Time's Up movements are sweeping the headlines with new stories emerging every day of harassment and assault survivors of both genders seeking freedom, justice, and equality, and in a very public and supportive forum. I often joke that I've been a feminist since birth, that I pretty much walked out of the womb with the sole objective of defeating the patriarchy by preschool. And now, all of these years later, I'm the vice president of Legendary Women, a feminist blog and charity. It seems that people are finally coming to realize what I've known all along, that feminism is indeed a beneficial and constructive social movement with some very noble goals. And with the emergence of Feminism 2.0, a revolutionary movement that shines in its positivity and inclusiveness, more and more people of all genders, races, faiths, backgrounds, and beliefs are coming to embrace, demonstrate, and exhibit this concept. Feminists work every day to further the advancement of women and humanity in general, fighting and working toward the attainment of equal pay, freedom from domestic and sexual violence, improved confidence, and self-esteem. And as more and more folks consider joining the ranks of nouveau feminism, let's take a look at some of the major issues that drive and motivate this critical movement.